Listen, I'll have y'all 1,000 kids if I didn't have to go through pain.
Labor is not about comfort. It's really about finding the position of power.
Pain is something that garners fear.
Do you know how far you can go with being uncomfortable?
It's a topic everybody wants to talk about.
For some people, have the context that pain and pleasure are an either or. Extra
A rose
rose.
for a lady.
Your body will not create anything that you cannot walk through.
Okay, you're gonna have to say that again because it's one of the top barriers to childbirth. When you ask most women what concerns them the most, almost everyone answers one response: the pain. So today we're going to talk about how you can feel empowered in your childbirth experience, how you can make better decisions so you don't have to desire an elective C-section to avoid the pain of labor. We want you to be equipped with all of your options and how to utilize them with our special guest today, who's going to walk us through how to be empowered in your childbirth journey. We thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to do what? Click subscribe. If it's one thing when you ask most moms as they prepare for childbirth, what concerns them the most, the number one topic is pain. And clearly, we can all understand why. It is the hardest, most difficult experience to go through. And so, pain is always a major concern for women. And preparing and having a plan to manage pain is really how you optimize someone's experience. And so, what else should we be talking about today when it comes to childbirth? But pain management is the topic everybody wants to talk about. And AnneLisa is the topic they want to know about. Okay. And so, I am so excited to have back on the virtual couch with us none other but our holistic doula, ancestral healer, and our alignment coach, the one, the only, the founder of Cosmic Mothering, AnneLisa Vallery. Welcome back to the couch. How are you?
I am well. I am so happy to be here. So happy to be here.
It's good to see you, my cosmic color sister.
Yes, y'all
We're
see me
always in
for the paper.
alignment. Hint, hint.
Yes, yes.
I love it. I love it. So I'm excited to have this topic because I feel like this is the topic that isn't getting discussed enough, but it seems like it's the elephant in the room. Like nobody's really talking about pain. Why aren't we talking about pain management more? How do you approach pain management with your clients?
So pain is definitely the number one, I would say the top of the fears when it comes to pregnancy, and there is a level of pain that is unavoidable. We call it the ring of fire. Um and so I shared with clients. I was like, "Listen, I can't tell you that it's not that this birth is not going to be painful. There will be an element of pain, and there's an opportunity for us to work together to really manage it, because it starts usually starts slow. At least for my first time moms, start slow. Moms who are on baby number 2 or plus, labor is a little different. It comes a little faster. Um, but I'll usually encourage my clients, like, it starts slow. And so we increase our management. And so it's from massage, it's from cuddling and caressing and loving, tender kisses and affection. And sometimes I tell partners, I was like, listen, you know what is going to make her body sing? Go do that. Enjoy. I will be back.
Now that's going to shock some people, right? Because oftentimes when we think about managing pain during childbirth, people think about sort of the conventional medications, epidural always comes up. And then sometimes when I have patients who will say, I want to do a non-medicated birth, and then I ask them, so what does that mean to you? Like, what are we doing? And they look at me like, I'm doing no medication. Like, that's what non-medicated birth is, right? It's just no medication. And so exploring what that really means to clients and patients, and having a more fruitful discussion about the fact that non-medicated doesn't mean do nothing.
Right. Absolutely. Cause so it's about educating yourself on the alternative ways to manage pain and the intensity of it. And so as most doulas know, the hip squeeze is invaluable as mom is moving through more intense surges or contractions. The hip squeeze, massages, positioning, um, and really, it's not about like labor is not about comfort. It's really about finding the position of power.
Okay, you're gonna have to say that again, because I think, no, seriously, because I really do think that society is always searching for a way not to go through pain,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
most people would sign up to have kids if pain was not a factor in the process of having kids.
Right.
Listen, I'll have y'all 1,000 kids if I didn't have to go through pain, right?
Right. Right.
But for many people, pain is something that garners fear. So I like the fact that you said your power. So how do you help your clients feel empowered? Because a lot of people, when pain comes up, the fear hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fear comes
Like we would
knocking
run.
at that door.
Mm-hmm. We ready to run through
Right.
whatever is in front of us.
Right. Listen, pain of the pinky toe makes you want to run.
Yes.
Needless to say, pain that really takes over your entire core, like the
Mm-hmm.
core of your being is in excruciating pain. So how do you help women feel empowered with that?
So through breath, because the pain is somatic, and so the way to navigate it is to actually meet it. And that also means meeting your growing edge or meeting your edge
I
and
told you I was going to take that line, and I'm still planning on taking that line. And to be honest, I have taken your line.
all good, all
So
good.
what do you mean by that growing edge?
So it's meeting your edge. So you know what your threshold is. You know what you're comfortable with. Do you know how much, how far you can go with being uncomfortable? Are you willing
Mm,
to meet that? And then are you willing to receive support to grow beyond that? Because the growth beyond that, that's the transformative process of birthing your baby and rebirthing yourself.
wow.
Right?
Wow.
A lot of the I will say fundamentally the fear that comes up around having a child, around labor, around delivery,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
really a fear of it's a fear of death. Because there will be a facet or a version of you that will die away to then birth the mother, the parent you get to become for this little one.
Wow. Wow.
And so,
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. And it makes sense, right? And there's many spiritual applications that you can use to really explore what you just said. And I love the fact that you're saying that the power really is in facing and confronting your fear,
absolutely.
which, for people who are fearful of heights, tell them to walk over heights and face that fear. Listen, it's not the easiest thing to do, right? So confronting your fear is really not the easiest thing to do, but it seems to be the most empowering thing to do when it comes to childbirth. So childbirth counters our natural instinct, which our natural instinct, well, maybe not our natural instinct, but our conditioned instinct
There you go. I was like,
is
it's not our natural instinct.
to run from fear and to I see I had to check myself there. But to run from fear is seems to be sort of the answer regardless of anything. And childbirth is really no difference in that respect. So feeling the power of going through the process, accepting the process is
Mhm.
really key to being able to be more in control of what your body is doing
Mhm.
and be able to tolerate or walk through that ring of fire. And when I say that, I don't mean that just physically, but also symbolically.
Absolutely. And like having a person that is centered and grounded and standing in front of you, inviting you, like with their hand out, give me your hand, I got you. Like that level. And the also, like finding your power is also in your ability to be present with what your current experience is, because
Mm.
birth does not have a timeline. Labor does not have a timeline. I know. Some people in our medical system treat it like that. And I am here to tell you, there is no timeline. There is simply bringing your presence to the forefront with what is currently happening in your body.
Now, I'm going to explore that some more because
Yes.
you just said a thing. So, because it really does, you have my wheels turning because it really does make me think whether or not we are so uncomfortable with pain as a society that we desire to get through the endpoint, right? Because we don't want to hear, because sometimes some moms are screaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And systemically, we don't like to hear someone in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do wonder if part of us pushing through and kind of trying to speed things along is our intolerance of allowing someone to really go through the process of birth for several reasons. But one of them, based on what we're talking about today, I'm wondering just having to go through that painful experience over hours is sometimes maybe intimidating, that we want to be able to take the option where we are able to walk through a little bit quicker. Like, can we speed this up?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so when we talk about pain management, and I really want to spend some time because you also said another thing when you brought up the pleasure part. So
Yeah.
we're going we gonna put a
Yeah.
hook in that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, there are these forms of natural painkillers,
Mm-hmm.
the release of endorphins in our body, and doing things intentionally that help us to release those endorphins, those hormones that are given to us, are part of our bodies that help us to through these painful experiences like childbirth. And unfortunately, we don't really utilize our natural painkillers as much as we should. We don't even really inform clients and patients, as a healthcare system, as to what are these natural ways that I can utilize my innate painkillers, my innate endorphins. And there's so many great ways that we can do that. Endorphins are released by exercise. They're released by laughter, one of our favorite ways of releasing endorphins, which is why laughing gas is one of
Mm-hmm.
the options for pain management. And so not everything that is used for pain management is necessarily pain medicine.
Right.
Some of them are sort of activating certain pathways in our system that helps to decrease our sensitivity to pain while increasing our ability to tolerate pain at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And studies have shown that certain types of endorphins, there's, I think, about 20 different types. Beta endorphins being one of the types that's most commonly studied, can be more powerful than morphine.
Absolutely.
But for because of how our healthcare system is built, um, and how we've been informed about how our bodies work, we're quicker to accept the morphine than to utilize our innate painkillers, which are even more powerful than morphine.
Right.
Um,
Because what people forget, so I will never forget. I did a consult with a client and we were talking about the pain of childbirth and
mhm,
like how mom and dad can best prepare themselves to move through that process. And I said, okay, y'all, just so you know, let's just have this conversation right here right now. I was like,
mhm.
the same way baby was made is the same way baby comes out, so the goal is
What
Lucy.
you mean by that, doula
So
extraordinaire?
Right. So the goal is
Uh,
loosey juicy. Dad looked at me like, wait, what? I was like, loosey juicy. The same loosey juices that were, you were enjoying to create baby is the same juices that support baby coming out and really activate those pleasure centers. So, because you have a choice, you can, well, let me actually rephrase that. You do have a choice. And it really comes down to like the pain that you're moving through in childbirth is created by your body. Your body will not create anything that you cannot walk through.
mm,
And so that is the position of power. You can either be at the effect of the pain, or you can find your power in your breath, find your power in your positioning, whether you're
mm-hmm.
in a deep goddess squat, whether you're in all fours, whether you are, on a birthing ball, or holding on to your partner while they allow you to just hum through each surge. All of those are really activating all of those good loosey juicy feeling hormones.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I know you're probably like, I don't need your scientific background to to confirm what I just said,
No,
but
no, no. It's always great.
I'm gonna put a stamp on what you just said because it is very true that doing things like meditation, deep breathing,
Mhm.
does also activate our endorphins. Playing music activates our endorphins. And as you said, pleasure is another way to activate the endorphin system. Something you said was really brought back a discussion I had this week where, well, not just this week, it comes up pretty often where patients are always mentioning, oh, I'm having more discharge as they're preparing for childbirth. And I'm always trying to really show them just how amazing the body is because the body is increasing your hormones because it's preparing for childbirth. And when you increase those hormones, a bunch of things happen, which includes increasing vaginal lubrication,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
Which is exactly what pleasure does as well, right? Increases the lubrication, allows the baby to slide on out, right?
Right.
So it's about using all these powerful aspects of our beings that really help us in a process rather than making the process harder than what it needs to be, right? Use what you got.
Absolutely.
Use what
Absolutely.
you got. So here's the thing. So we know that pleasure helps with pain.
Absolutely.
Why are we using pleasure more in the process of childbirth? Like what is the barrier? Do you see this becoming an avenue that we can truly explore more in the US of A, in specifically speaking?
Right.
Because we have a
It
very unique culture and system here.
Yes, yes. It is something like I so for my clients who maybe, their partner's not able to be present, put a little toy in the bag. Do what you I will
A
gladly,
little rose, an extra rose,
yes, an extra
a rose
rose.
for a lady.
Mhm. I was like, I will gladly step out the room and be like, and I'll inform the people who may come to your door. I was like, but I need you to focus on enjoying yourself. They will get the message whether they get it from me or whether they walk in and get it. Like,
Right? Are
so
clients very accepting of it? How do women embrace this as an option?
not, it really depends. It depends on the woman because it also depends on her, how she relates to her sexuality, how she
Mm,
relates to self-pleasuring, how she relates to her path of pleasure. Does she enjoy her body? Like, can she create that for herself? Can her partner
that's a
create
good
that
point.
for her in the moment? I've noticed like there are partners that are really in tune and can support and moving that forward. And then there are partners who feel a little uncomfortable. And so they're not as in tune. So they need a little more guidance like, hey, stroke her hair, or, just, hug her, or just cuddle with her, or hold her, or
Release that
let's try,
oxytocin.
right,
Hmm.
let's try this, laboring position. Um,
Hmm.
where they get to support. where they get to support mama in really bringing those about. And it also, like, she's feeling so much discomfort. Is she open and willing to receive from her
Oh,
partner?
right. Because
Like, there's,
again,
yep, there's
even
so
for
many different
patients,
dynamics.
even for, to your point, even for women who experience chronic pelvic pain issues, sometimes pleasure is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
For patients who have pain during pleasure, um, it's, I guess, to your point, working through those issues, especially if you plan to have children, is really to your benefit, because then it allows you to utilize that power during your childbirth, during labor. Because yeah, it's for some people, when they hear the word pain, they can't even process pleasure when it comes to a painful experience. So how do you reconcile, that type of relationship where for some people, pain and pleasure just don't really go together?
Right. There
Because
is,
some women will tell their partners, listen, not today, right? Because I'm in
there
pain,
is that.
right? And so, how do we change that perspective where women can actually um, see the use of both? Like the use of, because we can potentially even help to deal with pain, chronic pain issues by maximizing pleasure also, not
True.
just during
And
childbirth.
for some people have the context that pain and pleasure are an either or,
Right.
right? That's the context. It's they don't, and they can't, sometimes we can't perceive that pain and pleasure can be a both and. And it's also distinguishing pain of birth from past pain, whatever that may have looked like, versus, this pain, which is really bringing forth a beautiful gift into the world. And
Hmm.
so it's all in, like, really cultivating, getting clear, like, what is your relationship? What is your relationship to fear? What is your relationship to pain? What is your relationship to pleasure? Because sometimes the relationship to pleasure is also a painful one.
Yes. Yes.
And so it's so intertwined. It's like, how do you, we only have so much time together as, as
Right.
doula and client. And so,
Yes.
even if we begin to open just
Hmm.
this much, right?
Hmm.
Just opening the door, cracking the window, like, and really just having the conversation. Because for me, I believe it starts in communication. Can you even
Hmm.
communicate what about pleasure has you like feels painful to you? What
Right.
about what about pain has you go running for the hills?
Right.
Where is the fear?
Hmm.
Where is the fear in you? Where do you feel it in
Hmm.
your body?
Hmm.
Where do you know what's at the source of it?
Right.
Because sometimes that fear is not even ours.
Right.
Because our wombs they're the record keepers. They're the
Hmm.
record keepers of our lineage.
To clarify with our views, we're not talking about women who are approached by the partners to have a moment of intimacy and are forced to have a moment of intimacy when they don't feel ready and they feel like they're in pain. We're not talking about that. We're talking about women who are making their own decisions to utilize pleasure as a pain reliever, because we know
Hmm.
that it is. We know scientifically it is.
It is.
Like we know this. This is not, we are made so amazing. But we know that scientifically that these are all very natural ways of managing pain. But unfortunately, we don't explore these ways. We don't explore these options as much as we can. I think it's to the detriment of women of having to try to maneuver and navigate through childbirth and not be equipped with all the options of how they can manage their own childbirth. So I love the fact that you have these discussions with your client and that you're informing us on a larger scale of how many more options we have when it comes to pain management during labor.
Absolutely. And
How can
like,
we get the system to buy into this? Because,
well,
there's the science and then there's the system.
so I've so many thoughts, so many thoughts. Okay, so there are a couple of things coming up for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's one, remembering that each woman is the expert of her body. Because, like, I'll use me as an example. I have lived in this body for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know what is normal for me,
Mm-hmm.
what is okay, something's off. And so, and when I'm like, my body guides me to, okay, I think this is what I need, or maybe let's try this. Y'all, I don't know why the thumbs up is happening, so please. Oh, wow. Then there was that. Um,
Listen, you are onto something. So keep heading in that direction.
and so really, it's really acknowledging, I feel like it's having like woman-centered care, like having her lead,
I
because there,
love
as
that.
a trained professional, there's only a certain level of expertise that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And when every body is different from every other body, can they don't all operate the same. There are some fundamental similarities, and a woman's communication with her body is maybe distinct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so there's a listening, there's an opportunity to transform the listening that the system has of women and their body and the perception of their body. Because
Yeah.
I think shifting from a mindset of I'm the expert and this is my patient to I'm the consultant and this is my team. This is my client and I'm the consultant. This is a partnership. And the only way that the best possible outcome comes out of this for everybody is from a collaborative space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I co-sign that 1,000%. Immediately, yes.
Mhm.
Because, and I do think we do have to shift that perspective where she is the most informed about
Yes.
her body and how her physiology works because she's been in that space for the two of us over 40 plus years.
Mhm.
Okay. Right. A lot about what we see when it comes to childbirth and how childbirth is managed is a symptom of the overall system of patriarchy, unfortunately. And that's why we don't see, unless we see the overarching system change, it's going to be really, well, let me pause there. Do you think we need to change the entire system for childbirth to change? Is there a way we can change how we approach childbirth within the system of within this very patriarchal system?
Not within the system as it stands, the whole system. So I have toyed with this thought many a times.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, is there any part of the system? I go back to some basic questions. Is there any part of the system that works and works for everybody, regardless of gender, race, skin color, ethnicity, socioeconomic status? Is there any part of the system that works for everybody? Whatever that answer, I don't know the answer to that question. Let me just be, I
Hmm.
have no idea what the answer to that question is. Anything come up for you?
Not at all. And I may be biased because in my heart of hearts, I'm like, a system that doesn't even recognize certain individuals, like three-fifths of a person. We don't even acknowledge certain groups. Without the foundation of love for people, I don't see how anything can be reproduced that has benefit for all. But I agree with you. I'm going to take heed. I'm going to take heed and really think about this thoroughly and before I give my final answer. So I will contemplate about that a little bit more. That's just my forethought. It's the first thing that came
Right.
to mind. I'm like, this system don't even like us. Don't even
So,
acknowledge us as whole beings. And people
right.
want to go back there. So well, let me ask you about the unique experience. Let's touch into the women of color
Yes,
because we are very unique beings,
we
the
are.
birthers of the whole universe, but that's a whole other discussion. Um,
We know this.
man, I'm sorry, I did a little hip hop.
We know this.
How do you find when it comes to women of color? Because we are unique in the sense that we have been told our entire lives that our bodies don't belong to us, right? More so than the general population. Specifically, we have been told that our bodies have been owned. So, how do you empower someone who ancestral heritage, right? Because you're an ancestral healer, help us understand when you carry so much in your womb, as you shared with us, and you are specifically a Black woman who have this history of enslavement, how do you then shift the narrative internally and learn how to have that empowerment of your own experience?
It's so funny because the first thing that comes up for me is the conversation that we had before we started this conversation, which was um
Don't tell them my business. I'm teasing. You can share.
it starts with having a conversation with our womb. Cuz yes, I agree. There has been trauma that has been passed down through that lineage, through our lineage. And I feel like what is not acknowledged or what we forget is that there is also wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
There is wisdom and there are um what's coming up for me to say is like there are also answers
Mm-hmm.
to the issues or the challenges or the traumas that we have experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it really starts with simply connecting with the energy of your womb.
Right.
And I get that that can be so uncomfortable because
Mm-hmm.
whose
Or
definition,
foreign. Or
right,
foreign.
or foreign,
Mm-hmm.
because whose definition of womb did you take on?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And is your womb valid whether or not you choose to have a child?
Right.
All
Right.
wombs are valid
Mm-hmm.
because they exist. Period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I completely agree. And I really do think that Black women, and I'm speaking from the perspective that this is all I know. I only know how to be a Black woman. So I'm only speaking from the aspect of being a Black woman. I
Mhm.
really, and also from being in circles of sisters of all different walks. So whether it's a Black woman who was raised in the islands versus the Black woman raised in the US, raised in the South versus the North, I think we have a very, of my observation, it has been that we have a very innate ability to be in tune with our bodies and with ourselves. I think the problem has been not our natural skills and ability. The problem has been that society keeps distracting us from doing so because we have so much that we're carrying. We have so many responsibilities. We're always being pressured to think about this. We're always experiencing this racial experience that we're processing. So we're processing so many toxic experiences that we don't know how to take that moment to really heal internally, but we naturally have the ability to do so. We just have not had the opportunity to, or given ourselves the opportunity and permission to really explore that, to really connect with our bodies, connect with our womb, connect with our connect with our ancestral history to really understand ourselves better. But yeah, I think we would be extremely powerful if we were able to do so.
It is now I can relate to feeling like feeling being of, I'm going to call it being of African descent, feeling
Mm-hmm.
cut off or disconnected from my lineage, from my heritage. Like, I can absolutely relate. And I was also committed to finding answers. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've started to, in both being an ancestral healer and
Mm-hmm.
also like doing family tree work, literally getting on the phone with all the elders and
I
asking
have done this. My family knows, and I
yes.
still have it.
I've become the family historian. They have dubbed me the family historian because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, no, there's got to be more. There's got to be,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes back to, you know, really, are you willing to meet your edge and then grow beyond it?
Mm. Wow. Wow. You have certainly left us a lot to think about once again, AnneLisa. And to your point, and people have different journeys, different belief system and approaches in very different ways. It's just I think what we're seeing collectively is approach it,
Mm-hmm.
address it, right?
Absolutely.
However, your belief system allows you, whether, you're one belief system or another, or you've been raised a certain way or another, just really not being fearful of you,
Mm-hmm.
not allowing you to be foreign,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, yeah, so I love that. You definitely have us thinking once again, laying down all the knowledge. I,
Hey, that's
I
what
really
that's what
do.
I'm here to do.
This is always it's always such a powerful conversation with you. You always got me pausing and thinking and processing. But for those who also want to continue to follow and yield or glean from your knowledge and your wisdom, how can they get in touch with you? How can they follow you?
So you can follow me on Instagram. Instagram is probably where I'm most active. Um,
Mm-hmm.
at Cosmic Mothering or at AnneLisa Vallery. But if you get to either page, it'll take you to the other. And where I share content, you can also message me there, or reach out to my business at 323-364-3765 if you're interested in working with me. Yeah, that is, or hello at cosmicmothering.com is also the email.
Love it, love it, love it. Always such an amazing, amazing gift. I am Dr. T, the hand behind the handle of Healthy Bum Club right here on YouTube and healthybum.club on Instagram. We thank you guys for watching. We thank you for joining in this episode. Let us know, what do you think about some of the things we talked about? Have you explored pleasure as a form of a pain reliever? Do you feel uncomfortable when we talk about those topics? What is your history? What is your inner self telling you when you hear those two words combined together? Are you like, that's a little uncomfortable? Are you clutching your pearls? We don't want you to clutch your pearls, but if you are, let us know in the comments. We
Yeah.
thank you guys for watching. And we hope to see you guys with, of course, the next episode. This is Dr. T. Just a friendly reminder. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. And go ahead, why not? Click that subscribe button. Help us to get to the next 1,000 subscribers. We thank you guys for supporting.